Hello. Hello. Let's see if this. Hello. Let's see if this mic. Testing. Testing mic. Okay. Looks like we're on. Okay. Let's see how we're doing this now. One more connection. Okay, so go through the GCSE paper from 2014 for people that are paying attention or watching. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through each of the questions and how you're meant to go about answering them and how you would actually approach them in the real test. Now, as you're probably aware, there's a certain way that I like to approach these GCSE questions. And hopefully after this walk and talk mock, you're going to have a better understanding on what to do and how you're meant to go about doing it as well. So we're going to start off with the paper. So we're going to be looking at the 2014 Unit 2 AQA GCSE paper. So feel free to actually load that up yourself as well if you want to through it while we go through it, or if you feel more comfortable to just go through it yourself, then that's fine as well. All right. Let's just see how many people we've got in the room at the moment. Starting to figure this one out. Let's see the chat box. Okay, so we're going to go through the case study first. So if you all want to have a look at the case study, so the first case study I'm going to approach is Dotis Limited. Okay, so it's a long-established glassware business that made luxury glasses. Although the company which is based in the area of high unemployment. So from these clues straight away, you could tell what kind of question will be coming up. Yep. High unemployment employs about 200 local people. Many of the workers have been all their working lives, and their parents and grandparents also work there. Okay. Currently, many Dotis Limited employees are over 50. The quality of the glassware is checked at the end of the production process. Dotis Limited has noticed recently that the percentage of glassware items rejected for being below standard have risen from 5% to 13%. These that some of the older employees are not skilled as they used to be. The below standard items are sold to wholesalers about a third of the normal price, or scrapped if they are very poorly made. Dotis Limited is thinking of opening a shop at the factory to sell its products directly to the public. The shop would sell both quality and below standard glassware. This factory shop would need to supervise the 16 employees who would be working there. The plan is to use older employees as shop assistants. Okay, so you can see right away kind of what kind of question is going to be coming up. All right, so that's important to remember what kind of question will come up, especially when you're approaching the 9 mocks, which it's obviously crucial using the case study throughout actually. So the first question we have is a simple: explain one suitable method to promote the opening of the factory shop. Okay, prefer is, can we use this group chat here? Let's see. If you're in the group chat, you can actually chat using the actual chat board. No, so I'm not sure exactly how it's working at the moment, so we'll have to see. Let's see. Yes. Channel. Okay, so we've got a few people here. Good. Got a few people ready to go. Okay, so we've got some people eager to go. So let's go. All right, so the first one is explain one suitable method to promote the opening of the factory shop. Now, this question is a pretty straightforward 2-mark question, and you answer it real simply. How are you going to go about and answer this question is going to be pretty straightforward. It's all it's going to be is you're going to explain one suitable way to promote the factory shop, and use advertising media, flyers, special offers, money's off, celebrity opening. Pretty much most of the stuff that you picked up from promotion could be used in this question. All right. Now, if you're using anything that's non-promotional, you won't get any marks for that. Okay. And you get 1 mark for developing that answer. Okay. So could be doctors could put leaflets through people's doors. That will be like a 1 mark answer. What might be better would be they might advertise the opening of their new shops or their new factory shop by using posters. Okay, so that's the first question. The second question is briefly explain 2 advantages of Dotters Limited opening a factory shop to sell its glassware directly to the public. Okay. So paper. This is basically, I picked the 2014 paper because I think these questions would be similar questions to what's going to come up. Okay. Says briefly explain 2 advantages of Dotters Limited of opening a factory shop to sell its glassware directly to the public. Okay, so you pretty much should be able to gather any information you could think of that might be how they might see an advantage of opening the factory shop. So your advantage should be pretty straightforward, and then you expand on them for the 2 marks. So this is essentially basically 2 marks in one. Yeah. Advantages could be, does anyone have any advantages they can think of? Any advantages they can think of? I'm just seeing if this group chat is working. If people could, we've got 2 people in here at the moment. Let's see if there's anyone else that gets involved in that. Okay, so explain 2 advantages to Dotters Limited of opening a factory shop to sell its glassware directly to the public. So you have possible advantages. The first advantage you can have is you can miss out the retailer and wholesaler. You can miss out the retailer and wholesaler, so you can go straight to the customer. Okay, that will be an advantage because you can actually decide exactly how you want to sell that item and get it to the end user quicker than before. Okay, and at costs. Another aspect of it, it could be an outlet. All right. So many of you know about Wembley and the Wembley Designer Outlet, and you know that a lot of the stuff that goes there is straight from the company. Okay, this could be used as an outlet store as well, and they can sell items that they might not want to reach the wider market. Okay, and can also receive direct customer feedback for their designs. Yeah, more money with less time wasted. Excellent. Okay, explain how Dotters Limited might reduce the percentage of below standard glassware that it produces. So this is a basic issue of quality, okay? And quality is a topic they love to bring up in Unit 2. And it's definitely a topic that you need to go over again and again to make sure that you understand that topic before you get into that paper on Friday, all right? So make sure you guys in quality. It's the last topic in the books, and it's the last topic on the spec as well. So what you have on this one is explain how Dotters Limited might reduce the percentage of below standard glassware that it produces. Now, the first one you're going to go about for 4 mark, what you need to do is for 1 mark, you're going to tell me the method of what they need to do. For 2 marks, you're going to have to go up to level 2, and you're going to have to explain and develop what you were doing. All right, so that will be a low level explanation. And then if you want to get into that level 3 and you want to get 3 or 4 marks on this question, you'd have to explain and develop in the context. So meaning you have to refer to the case study. Example, I'll use this as a example. Quality checks. Dotters Limited. If I just wrote quality checks, that will probably get me one mark. Okay. Quality checks will help Dotters Limited reduce the percentage of below standard glassware because they can make sure that they are checking the below standards are meeting this, are becoming higher standard glassware. Okay, that would be something that could be a maximum at the level 3 response. Okay, so that would be something that could be the level 3 response. So that would definitely be something worthwhile. Okay, so we've got those as a 4 marks. Go through the first 9 mark now. We're going through the first 9 marks. So it says Dotters Limited needs to recruit a manager for the factory shop. Is considering 2 ways of doing this: promoting an existing employee or recruiting somebody new to the business. Okay, okay. There was no aspect of this type of question on Unit 1. It could be a case for this being a 9 mark for Unit 2. All right, so something along these lines. All right, something about people in business. That's usually a topic they use for Unit 1. However, this time they use production for Unit 1. So they're going to probably use this kind of people in business question for Unit 2. Answer this question. Well, as always, we'll pick something that we consider to be the same or something that we want to go through. All right, so we'll pick. Has anyone got any suggestions of what we should pick in the group chat? Of what we should pick in the group chat? Should we do option 1 or option 2? Any ideas? Option 1 or option 2? Option 1 or option 2? What does everyone think? Any suggestions, or should I just pick one myself? Any suggestions at all? One, right? So we're going to go with one. Okay, good. So, promoting an existing employee. Okay, so that's option one. So what we're going to say is promoting an existing employee. We'll start off with our advantage. So we're going to start off with the statement. So we're going to say Daughters Limited should promote existing employees. Okay, and we're going to have to find an advantage for them promoting an existing employee. Okay, so let's go with one strong advantage. Remember, we're going to try and get a level 3 on both the advantage and the disadvantage, so we don't have to go through two advantages to a disadvantage. So three advantage that we could pick is, let's do known person. Okay, so let's say one of the reasons why promoting an existing employee might be better for the company is because they would know the person that they're promoting. Okay, and this will more likely to be suited to the job to do. Yep, and it will less the risk of someone coming in new who might still have to train, or they might have to actually show what to do again because they know the person already. All right, so that would be one of the best responses for that. Okay, the response. Yep. Also, no induction training needed, and you could save costs and time in that aspect as well. So that could be another way. Another thing you could do as well. Okay. No induction training needed. Now, what could you tell me would be a disadvantage? What would be a disadvantage? What would be a disadvantage of this response? Any ideas? Any disadvantage you can think of? Excellent. That's a really good point there from a student from Preston Manor School there as well. Talent, lack of talent, okay, lack of new ideas. Yeah, lack of new ideas. Right. So, um, lack of new ideas. Now, new employee will take time to adjust and won't work efficiently. So we've got a new idea. We've got a good idea for that as well. So why don't we go for a lack of new ideas? Okay, that was a good one. So we could say the company at the moment, the staff that are working there at the moment are struggling to become efficient or motivate themselves already. However, they have been there for many years and they have been going through doctors for quite a while. So you can make that argument that lack of new ideas coming through that they can get from promoting an existing employee. But we're going to be looking at recruiting somebody new to the business. That would be something. So we need to hang on. So we need to find a disadvantage for that. Brought up a good point. New employees will take time to adjust and won't work efficiently. So new employees will take time to to the company, and it would take them too long to actually go about what they're going to do. Yeah. So if you expanded on that point for level 3, used it in context to the case study, full marks for that. And then for the evaluation, you would do disco M. Okay. That's pretty much decision. It depends on versus long term. Cost, other factors, and the most important factor? That would be the main reasons or the main things to look at for when we're looking at evaluation. Okay, so disco M. You can come up with a disco M response for that. What would be the, what would it depend on? Decision depend on? What would that decision depend on? Any ideas? So what that would depend on would depend on whether they can actually teach those people to actually take part in retail. Okay, some of them would struggle with retail, some of them might not be able to do it properly, so that would have been something that they can do to help them in terms of retail, right? So that would definitely be something they could consider. Another thing they could do would be another thing it could, you'd look at the short term versus long term. Okay, so what would be the short term benefits of what they do and the long term benefits of what they do. Then you look at other factors that might be concerning them, and then lastly the most important factor as well. Okay, the most important, it could be anything from the lines of, in terms of whether they can retrain, whether they can afford to have new people in charge. Company wants to go about and move towards promoting employees in terms of the circumstance they're in. Would, why an existing employee would be suitable? Why might be it be better to have an elderly person or someone who's been there with experience in the manager's role, and the cost of involved in appointing a lot more than actually recruiting from inside. Okay, thing we're going to look at is the next case study, which is Hey Presto Limited. Okay, so this is a case study that people that I've taught are very familiar with. For those that are just watching for the first time from around, I'm not going through this case study as much as some of the students a bit closer to home might have. So it's called a parcel delivery company, Hey Presto Limited. Hey Presto Limited started in 1987 with just 3 vans. Over the years, the business has been successful and now has 120 vehicles, which operate in the London area. Okay, journeys. Most of the journeys the vans make are through busy city streets. A number of smaller competitors have recently entered the parcel delivery market. These new businesses charge lower prices in order to attract the customers from bigger organizations such as Hey Presto. Often these companies often own very old and unreliable vans. Major shareholder Christine would like to expand the business and to provide a national service. Christine has been in with the owners of a Birmingham-based Fast Track Limited, a similar-sized business to Hey Presto. Fast Track owners are keen to merge with Hey Presto. Christine is unsure if merging is the best way for Hey Presto to expand. She believes that continuing to buy new vans each year from Hey Presto's profit might be the better idea. Christine would also like to make it business more environmentally friendly, considering replacing several diesel vehicles with electric vans, which are more expensive to buy but are cheaper to run and are less polluting. First question is very straightforward. List two stakeholders for Hey Presto. Okay, so list two stakeholders for Hey Presto. And that obviously you need to make sure you understand the difference between a stakeholder and a shareholder. A stakeholder is someone who has any stake in the business. Okay, so it could be the employees, the shareholders, managers, competitors, government, environment, local community, and creditors. Okay, you get 1 mark for each different stakeholder you mention. Okay, pretty straightforward question. The next one is briefly explain one advantage and one disadvantage to Hey Presto of growing in size. So, how would Hey Presto grow in size? Briefly explain one advantage and one disadvantage of Hey Presto growing in size. So one advantage could be advantage could be one advantage could be to be able to compete with the new competitors by offering a more comprehensive service. Okay, more money or profit, or to reduce costs in terms of economies of scale. Just for the gentleman that, oh, if I have the 2015 paper, I am aware of the 2015 paper. However, I felt the 2014 paper will be closer to the 2016 paper. Okay, that's it. And I'm not sure if it'll stay up tomorrow. To the other gentleman asking if the video will still be here tomorrow. Okay, we're going back live. All right, so to reduce costs, that would be something that would be considered to be an advantage if they're growing in size, economies of scale, all of that. First topics of Unit 2. Okay, more money or profit, that could be something else. Definitely the cost could rise disappropriately as HP expands. That would be another advantage they can have. Some of the disadvantages would be higher risk, more to lose as there are several new competitors, and any aspect of diseconomies of scale. Make sure you revise economies of scale and diseconomies of scale time and time again. 1 mark for identifying and 1 mark for developing that point as well. Thing is, we've got another mark for you, another 4 mark for you. So this is explain to Hey Presto of choosing to replace diesel vans with more expensive electric vehicles. Okay, a question you need to make sure you're reading these questions. A lot of people failed to pick up the marks for this because they started mentioning how it would save on pollution and the environment would be a lot better. The key word in this, benefit to Hey Presto. How is that a benefit to the actual company? Okay. So the first thing you could say is being seen in a good light by the public. That could definitely be an answer. Saving in fuel might pay for the extra purchase cost increase in profit. and more convenient for stop and start short distance city work as well. Okay. Now this is another 9 mark that could come up in terms of mergers and takeovers. Why? Christine is considering 2 ways in which Hey Presto might expand. Continuing to buy new vans from the profits of the business makes all its competitors Fast Track Limited. Advise Hey Presto on which of these two methods would be more suitable for the business. Now remember, this, or when we're actually doing going through this 9 mark, this is a topic that could quite possibly come up. Now there were 2 9 marks on this that I felt that could come up in paper 2. This one, the last one that we looked at as well. Those are 2 9 marks that I think could come up. To make a note of those 2 topics you need to revise. So mergers and takeovers, where you get 4 marks for the analysis, and then you get 5 marks of judgment. Okay. And what do we do straight off the bat? We're gonna try and pick up a judgment by making our judgment from that first sentence. Okay. So from C, you only need to explain a benefit. You only need to explain one benefit. Okay. You only need to explain one benefit. Okay. You need to explain one benefit. I was just going through different possible reasons. Okay. And it's worth 4 marks because you want to you're going to, the vans is identified, then you describe it, and then you explain it for that 4th mark. Okay. So advise Hey Presto on which of these 2 methods of expanding will the business would be more suitable for the business. Use item B to support your answer. So you got 2 options. You got continuing to buy new vans from the profits of the business makes. It's fast track. You could go with either organic growth and new vans from the profits, or a merger, which is merging with its competitors, Fast Track Limited, which will be inorganic. Okay. Come up on unit 1 and come up on unit 2. Okay. Inorganic and organic growth. Pick one. Which one do you do? Which one should we do? Anyone got any suggestions? What should we do? Which one? Pick option 2. Yeah, we're going to go with option 2. Excellent. Fantastic. Option 2. Thank you. Right, option 2 on there. We've got in 2 ways in which Hey Presto might expand. We've got merging with Fast Track Limited or continuing to buy new vans from the profit. So option 2, we're going to go with its competitors. So you would say the first sentence, which will be, I believe that Hey Presto should merge with its competitors, Fast Track Limited. That would be your first sentence. Then you'd go into the advantage. So I'll pick the advantage for you guys. It will be something like so you can say it's a faster way to grow, especially with new competition. So you could say, Hey Presto can grow a lot quicker with Fast Track because they both have their strengths and they both have due to improve the company, and they can have a larger network in cities and establish new contacts. They would have to their company, they will go about and they will make sure that they have one less competitor now and they're both working on the same team, and you'd go along those lines. All right, you all know how to get to level 3 on that. Yeah, then you'd have a disadvantage of the other option, which will be organic growth. Okay, so what would be a disadvantage of organic growth? I would go with, do they have sufficient, I'd say HP would need loads of money, okay, or loads of finance, and they do not have the finance organically, okay, they don't have the finance to expand organically. So why should we go about and let them, why shouldn't they just go into the merger? If you use that argument, you could be pushed up to a level 3. All right, and the same for the evaluation used go M in terms of short-term versus long-term, cost, other factors, and then the most important factor. Remember, you're getting 5 marks for the evaluation, okay? The last case study, which is carpets to you, okay? Now, I picked this case because I felt like balance sheets is something that might, as last year was profit and loss, this year balance sheets are most likely to come up, okay? So, carpets to you. Carpets to you PLC is a nationwide carpet retailing business. Any UK cities. Unlike many other carpet retailers, Carpets to you carries a large amount of stock, and its customers have to wait for their carpets. Okay? To be delivered to them. Sales have been falling through during the recession, and the business has developed a cash flow problem. Customers come to Carpets to you because of the personal service they receive at the stores. Stores assistants are currently paid a basic wage and a monthly bonus, depending on how many sales they make. Falling sales have meant the assistants' wages have gone down. The company directors are thinking of replacing this bonus system with a higher basic wage and using an annual appraisal interview as a way of motivating staff. Directors are also thinking about increasing the range of products that Carpets to you sells, such as offering tiles and wooden flooring. The directors are even considering starting to sell household furniture. Glimpse of the balance sheet. So we've got the current assets, current liabilities, asset test ratio there as well. Right, so total current assets minus inventories and stock. Total current liabilities. Okay, so that's the assets ratio. What is the statement of financial positions for a balance sheet? So this is basically just a more complicated way of asking a basic question. All they really want to ask you is, what does a balance sheet show? And all you have to say is document show what a business is worth, list of assets and liabilities, a snapshot of the business. Okay, any one of those answers. The next one we have is the acid test ratio. Now, they will give you the formulas for the acid test ratio. So bear that in mind, yeah. But they just might need you to identify what kind of issues it might have. Okay. So acid test ratio. You get 1 mark for the correct for the showing the working out, and 2 marks for the correct answer. All right. So when it's a ratio, it'll always be a ratio response. Okay. So it says acid test ratio. So the acid test ratio is total current assets minus inventory. Okay, so we're going to go through the total current assets, which is 57. Okay, so 57 is the total current assets. All right, 57 is the total current assets minus inventory, 21. Okay, 21. And then you have divide that by the total current liabilities, which is 60. And your answer would be 0.6. Okay, 0.6. All right, 0.6. That would be your answer. 0.6. Okay, big 0.6. Explain how the change in corporate use asset test ratio might affect the business. Now notice this has a little 2i next to it. What that usually means is you have to relate it to the question previously. If you don't relate it to the question previously, you won't get the maximum marks for that. Okay. So on this question, it says explain how the change in corporates to your asset test ratio might affect the business. You would have a change of 0.6, okay, which, as we know, good. Okay, it's not good. All right, it's not good. So we'll say the change is not good. Carpets to you ability to pay short term is not as good as it was. All right. And for developing responses could include the risk that further credit may be refused by suppliers and the bank may not continue to extend in its overdraft as well. Okay. Okay, so we're all okay on that question there. We're now moving on to 3C. Oh, technical mishap here, guys. Please be patient. So it says explain 2 advantages to corporates to you to introducing staff appraisals. Why would it be why should they use staff appraisals? So we could say possible answers include, this is basically 2 3-mark split up. So it'd be the get 1 mark for the advantage and you'd get 1 mark for the advantage explained and then 1 mark relating to the case study. Okay, that's the best way to go about doing it. So advantage could be motivates employees with personal targets, can identify specific training needs of individual employees, can be used to promote the business strengths, e.g. good services, and gets feedback from employees on how carpets you might improve as well. Okay, that could be an improvement. So that's pretty straightforward. We're on to the last 9 mark. As you can see, we've got a good amount of time for it to go through. So we'll try and get through this quickly. So it said carpets to you is thinking of increasing range of goods that are sold in its stores. Advise carpets to you whether you believe that is a good idea. All right. So they're going through the amount of items they're selling in their stores. Should they increase it or not? Now, this type of 9 mark usually throws kids off because they don't know how to actually approach it. Should they go about the traditional options or not? This is, they just haven't laid out the options for you there. Okay. All you have to do is go back to the case study. Two responses already. Increase the range of goods, so the furniture they're selling and so forth, or not increasing it. Right? You just have to pick the right one. So which one should we pick? Expanding the range of goods or not? I'm going to say no. Okay? No, they shouldn't increase the range of goods. Simply because the company would be moving into areas where it doesn't have experience, and already from the asset test ratio we can see they can't pay off their short-term debt. They can't pay off their short-term costs and so forth because of the asset test ratio, and it's come out quite poor for them. All right, so creditors can't get paid. So if they buy these new items, they're gonna have to pay their creditors more, and already they're struggling to pay them. So why go about doing it again? Yeah. So we'll go not expanding the range. Thank you very much. So it would be best for them what they're doing. Try and improve on how they are running the company. Okay. So you could go into all the negatives of them not opening up the new range. All right. See some of the advantages. What could be some of the advantages of them staying with what they're selling at the moment? What could be some of the advantages? So a good point is you could say they can move in. They can move the way they actually sell their items. Okay. Right now they're holding large amounts of stock. All right, and its sales are falling down. They can have less stock. Yeah. A similar sort of just-in-time kind of motion where they only get the stuff when they need it, and they don't have to have large amounts of stock. That would they wouldn't have to increase the range of goods sold in the store. They'll decrease it, but they'll have more profit because they're not buying all this old stock. Right? Then that would be your advantage. Disadvantage will be they don't know what they're doing at the moment with new products, so they won't be able to expand properly. Issues that they face for that. And last thing is you go for the evaluation, which is straightforward. Disco M again, how it affects each one of the aspects of disco, and that is that. Okay, so that is how you would go through the questions in the 2016 paper, which is coming up on Friday. Important GCSE business studies paper you do in your lives. Make sure you revise all aspects of Unit 2 for that. Make sure everything's at the front of your brain, all right? I know some of you might have biology on that day, but you need to really make sure that you have prioritized the revision, all right? Has anyone got any questions before I log off? I'll give you a couple minutes, just wait for questions. No, it looks like everyone's okay with that, so we're going to go. Attention, thank you for listening. You've been wonderful.